Hi, everyone. My name is Debbie, better known as Scheherazade Deborah Robinson Gideon, and this is how to handle fame, when you become famous. And why do I, okay, I'm so sorry. Why do people think fame is such a great thing? Well, it's good because it brings you money, it brings you popularity, it gets you known throughout the world, throughout your city, throughout your school, whatever you go to or you attend. What I'm going to talk about is how to handle fame once you're in the industry of entertainment. What qualifies me? Well, I grew up in the United States all over. I lived in about 36 states because I went to 36 schools. And my mother's an air traffic controller, and I've been traveling since the day I was born, probably. Anyway, but what qualifies me is that I've been around a lot of celebrities for most of my life, at least most of my adult life. There are people that acquire fame because they become models, they become actors, they become famous in one form or another of the industry. You don't necessarily have to be in front of the camera to acquire fame. Fame comes at a cost, though. You've heard of the tales of Judy Garland and Dana Plato. Judy Garland is from The Wizard of Oz. Dana Plato is from Different Strokes. All these people have gone into drugs, alcohol, abused themselves, and didn't know how to deal with the fame once they became super famous, super rich. And even the people that win the lottery don't know how to deal with the fame, to where most of them don't survive it. They don't survive after a couple of years of just having it. So I've been around the rich, the famous, the poor, you name it. I know a lot of them very well, to where I can call them on the phone and be able to just talk to them. So my first thing is, when you are about to become famous in one form or another, know who your friends are. If you don't know who your friends and your family is, and you take it for a grain of salt, you're not going to know who they are when you get famous, because everyone is going to be wanting to be your friend. If it isn't for the money, it's for the status. If it isn't for the status, they're going to want to be around you just because. But then again, when you all of a sudden don't have that money or that fame to go around, or that prestige, they're not going to want to know you. Believe me, I've seen it. I had a friend that I worked with who became a top model of one of those books. Do you remember, like Fabio used to do, with the guy is all dressed up and the woman is all dressed up, and they look like they were a painting, but they were a picture with the painting a little bit around them, to where they were those love story novels and stuff. I told him at the beginning that if you don't know who your friends are, you're definitely not going to know who they are when you become famous, because everyone is going to want to be your want to be your friend. Also, one of the other things that you need to know about is that know how to finance yourself. Control your finances is basically what I'm saying. I had a friend's uncle tell me that had millions, probably $250 million. Look at me when I was I would say about 13, 14 years old, and I was in Texas at the time. And he looked at me and he says, if you don't know how to spend $1, you'll never know how to spend $1 million. So when you're acquiring all this fame, you really need to know how to deal with your money situation. You know, go to Forbes at www.forbes.com, Forbes.com. Go to merrilllynch.com. Go to one of these particular places. Learn how to invest your money once you become famous. Learn how to handle your fame. Learn not to go out like TLC or any of these other companies, bands or any of them, and learn how to use your finances. Okay? You must learn how to, sorry about that. You must learn how to control what you have. One of the other things that you need to learn is do not put everything in your manager's hands. Your manager, he's there or she's there to help control what you have and to say, yes, she or he will do this, or no, what he or she will not do. Learn how to do things for yourself on the side. Don't put your life in somebody else's hands. I've watched a lot of my friends. I used to work the New York China Club. This is a club that used to have a lot of celebrities come in and out of it every single week, Mondays and Wednesday nights. Make sure you know where your money is going, how much, check your accounts. Make sure you have a detail of every penny that you have, because that is part of having fame. You have to learn how your finances work. Another thing, keep your private life private. Don't run away from the media just because. Go up to them and talk to them and say, you know what, this is what are your questions? If there's something that you're uncomfortable with, say, you know what, I don't feel comfortable saying that. Or say, basically, if you're a very blunt person like a New Yorker, it's none of your business. You're going to acquire fame whether you are in, what do you call it? Whether you are in a position of in front of the camera or if you're an executive, everything acquires fame because in one form or another, you're going to be famous in that sense. Also know what you're going to say to the press. If you don't know what you're going to say to the press, you could just blunt out stuff that you didn't mean to. Always have things figured out. Think about before you go out. How there was an actress, and that was back in the 50s. I guess she started in the 20s. Her name was Gracie Allen. She was an amazing actress who was part of George Burns's team. They were known as Burns and Allen. That woman was in character everywhere she went. She was nothing the way you see her on television. She was before Lucy, but she was an amazing actress and funny comedian. But she knew her lines. She knew what she was going to say. She had a comeback for every single thing that was being said. So one of the other things that you need to do is go to schools or people that you can rely on, know where they stand with you. If you start acquiring that kind of fame, that kind of wealth, get help. Go see, especially if you're that high up, go to somebody within the same field that you have and say, you know what, and somebody at the same status. You don't want to go to somebody that's at the lower end of it. If you are in the first $1 million mark or the first $500,000 mark, say, you know what, can I ask some advice? But see how their life is first. You don't want to ask somebody like I don't want to say negative about anyone, but let's say you don't want to go up to somebody who's in the middle of drugs and alcohol and say, well, how are you spending your money? How are you dealing with this? How are you coping with fame? You want to make sure that you're able to go along and see them and talk to them. Sorry, brain, it's really hot here. But anyway, you get the idea. Protect yourself. Know how to protect yourself. Know where you can go to. What's at stake. Constantly protect yourself and others that are around you that mean something to you. Because if you don't, you're not going to be, you'll probably wind up, and you sure don't want to wind up 6 feet under the ground. Okay? Well, this is for my school, Full Sail University, in my event class. And once again, my name is Scheherazade Deborah Robinson Gideon, and I just wanted to let you know. If you ever have any questions or anything, please feel free to get a hold of me. Leave me a comment at the bottom, and I'll answer you as soon as I see it. All right? You have a great day.